Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mike Plays RP1. This is a series in which I, as a veteran KSP player but novice RP1 player, is working my way through the programs and contracts of the RP1 mod pack. A mod pack that turns Kerbal space program into a much more realistic space simulator with historical contracts, realistic parts, and a real-scale solar system. And what you're seeing here before you is what I've been calling the Explorer 10. This is something I've been working on for the last little bit, and last episode it finally was able to achieve its goal of, let me see, it's this contract here we're looking at, the Magnetometry satellite. It's to take the magnetometer experiment, which is in a payload up here. I can show it to you. Locked in behind this fairing. Doink. There it is there. We'll clean up this payload just a little bit. And it's got to perform, it's got to live for, what is it, 45 days, collect 75% of the magnetic scans that are available in high space above the Earth. And that means putting it into an orbit. The requirement is for the perigee to be at least 3,000 kilometers. And the apogee to be below the, well, that's just keep it in orbit. Don't leave Earth, or at least don't get involved with the moon. That's what that's about. But the eccentricity has to be at least 0.75. That's the main thing. So you do have to have a fairly eccentric orbit with a higher perigee than I've had before. I've gotten up into high space, but it was always been in orbits with a very low perigee, which actually really kind of helps you out because, you know, in the low perigee, you can just burn to your apogee gets up to what you need it to be, and then you can just leave it alone. But this one requires at least a couple of burns, right? You got to do a burn to get the either apogee up or perigee up, and then do a burn at that, a second burn to bring up the other one. So both of them are fairly high, and that required a payload that is well, capable of making better burns and also capable of doing both of them. And I don't have really orbital engines that are capable of being relit, so I had to do this in two stages. The bottom stage is pushed by the humble Aerobee engine. It turned out to be enough for me to get what I needed to be done, and then the upper stage is handled by SRBs. So this guy was closing in, and I was thinking, like, and this is actually a reasonably big rocket. I have the bottom stage is the Atlas 1B, which you've been seeing a lot with 6 caster SRBs. And then the upper stage, I've been using the Stentor upper stage in all of my orbital rockets to date. Stentor is an older engine, but it was getting the job done. But I switched that up to the Gamma 8, a much bigger engine so that it can handle the bigger payload and get that bigger payload up into orbit. And this was able to do it. This got the job done. And I was thinking all I had left to do was to, I'm just thinking, yeah, I just want to close that. There we go. Was to kind of clean this up a bit, make the textures a little nicer and all of that kind of thing, make it look better and get her into the building queue. Unfortunately, one of the things too with this is that it did require a modification to the launch complex, a relatively modest modification to, what do we got here? Up the maximum tonnage from 109 tons to 127 tons. That also ups the minimum tonnage. That's the thing I was a little bit worried about because I do want to launch my old rockets at the same time, so I want to be looking in that, and that'll cost me a bit of money. It'll only take a week to do the upgrade, so it's not terrible. But I've yet to really start that. Wait. Cancel. That's what I want to do. And I do have other things going. Boy, there's a lot of stuff going on for the past few episodes. The Explorer 9, which is a moon impactor, has been sitting at about 3 days away from total integration. That is just about ready to go too. So I'm really kind of thinking about what's going to go into next. I can't do the modification until the Explorer 9 is launched because that will mess up the integration of the Explorer 9. Yeah, it's getting complicated. Anyway, I'm going to make it more complicated still because I was seeing YouTube comments asking me, You know, you haven't upgraded the engines on the Atlas 1B yet, and I was shocked at that. I thought for sure I had. These engines here, the LR4389 engines, they've been powering my Atlas rockets this whole time, and all the way through. I thought when I created the Atlas 1B, that's exactly what it was. It was the Atlas 1, but with the engines upgraded. Turned out, no, it wasn't. If I go to the engine GUI here, you can see it's still on the original LR43 N-3 variant. I do have upgrades that I could apply that I've not yet applied to it. And that means that I can make a better version of the Atlas 1B, which means maybe I don't need this big-ass sustainer stage up here with the Gamma 8 engine. Maybe I can get away with the old Stentor in the middle, which means that the rocket will be lighter, it'll be cheaper, and perhaps it will stick under the 109-ton limit that is currently on my astronaut complex. So I think I kind of am behooved to at least give that a go, to at least try this with the old lifter, the Atlas 1B that you see here, and see if that's going to work for me. I don't know. At least it's worth a check, I think. So, the other thing I got going, by the way, is also being integrated and worked on is an Atlas 2 rocket, a much bigger rocket than this one, capable of making much heavier payloads. That's still not due, though, for several months, so we got to wait on that. So what I think I'm going to do with all of that preamble out of the way is let's close some windows. Close that window. Close that window. Close that window. Okay. So what I have up here, let's take a look at our payload. And we'll open up the GUI. No, we won't. We will open up that. There we go. We're going to take this off. Chuck it away for now. All right, so this is the payload. If I can get this payload into low Earth orbit, I know that the payload can perform the mission. So low Earth orbit, I've been budgeting around 9,400 meters per second. I've been getting some advice that I've been trying to incorporate into making my ascents a little bit more efficient, but you know, one thing at a time, as they say. There's only so many things I can incorporate at the same time. But anyway, this is a 928 kilogram payload. So if I can get a booster that's smaller than the one you just saw, that can lift up a 928 ton payload, then I'm kind of in business. So what we're going to do is, I just wrote that down, 928 kilograms. I'm going to go new. No, don't save that. I'm going to pull out a just conventional fuel can. And I'm going to turn this just into a dummy weight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get the tank UI. This is just going to be a utility weight is the word for it. We're going to fill this thing with lead ballast. This is now filled with lead. It's 5.61 tons. That's clearly too heavy. But then what I can do is go to my booster library that I've been slowly putting together and take my old Atlas 1B caster 1x6 and stick that under there. We'll raise this up so it doesn't look ridiculous. Get it out of the textures in the ground. There we go. Okay. And also check my staging. This got so... I was doing this like the other episode and I was getting all confused because the staging was a mess. But that's all for the launch clamps. Those are the casters. That's the right time. Then the casters release. Then we go into our second stage. And then that releases the payload. Okay. That all makes sense. So now we'll open up McJeb. This is why I don't have it. Open up the Delta V stats window. That opens up that. Okay. I gotta think of putting that in a better spot or dealing with the bleed through or whatever. And now we're gonna dial this down simply by, let's bring the diameter down. And looking at getting it to a mass of about 928 kilograms. So we can bring the length down a little bit. Down here it's keeping track of the mass for me. And what I want to look at is what's there. That's 1.1 tons. And that's a delta V of, that's too low. Remember, I'm shooting for 9,400. This is why I wasn't using this booster in the first place. Let's turn down the utilization, really get it close to what I was shooting for. 928. Doesn't have to be exactly that. Oh, I saw it 929. There we go. 929 kilograms now is the payload mass. All right, so if I can get this delta V up to 8,789, I am in business. And I'm going to try and accomplish that simply by taking these motors. I guess I probably have to upgrade both of them. So let's take a look at our upgrades here. We have this one, which has a, I guess I should also look at the burn. Oh, the burn times increased significantly, so don't have to worry about burn. I'm not going to change the size of the tank. Well, I could. If you just make the tank longer, that's very cheap to tool. But let's see. So this is, where am I looking? I got an ISP. I'm looking just at vacuum stats of 965 seconds and a thrust of 617 kilonewtons. That's the one that's on there now. I could bring the ISP up to 278 seconds with a thrust of 757. That's a significant improvement. And then the third upgrade goes up to 282, better still. And more thrust, a little bit more thrust. There's a mild improvement between these two, but a big improvement over the first one, both of them. Let's go to the highest one I have available, which is this one. Okay, now do I have to upgrade both of these? Or did they both go together? I gotta upgrade both, because clearly you don't want one of them one and one of them the other. And that brought the delta V up to 4,295. Again, that's not even close. Can't be that bad, is it? My goodness. This says it can bring... Oh, wait, it's doing it on the surface. No, it's not. Certainly isn't. Oh, I should also mention... Shoot. I should also mention... I have made the transition away from real scale solar system to Sol, which is more up to date, made by the same people, Ballistic Fox heading the charge on that one, and but it's the one that he's kind of moved on to. So once we get out there, you're going to start seeing some differences. I think especially the surface textures look a lot better. There is some differences in the lighting. You can see it a bit with there's little spots down here on the launch pad, and you can see how it's casting the shadows off of these caster engines. Ooh, see what I did there? So they all kind of look a little bit, I don't know, the lighting I think does look a little bit, but you're going to see a lot of this in a little bit. I know I have an install video that I made relatively recently on how to put in RSS. If you go to that install video, pinned in the comments below is a link to a video, a very good video on how to install Sol with BlackRack's volumetric clouds. I will also put a link to that video in the description down below of this video if you want to make the jump as well. But I have made the jump. You'll be seeing that in a little bit. But that's why, as I go through this, because this is a different install, same game file, but a different install, you'll see me having to make some changes. Like, for instance, here, that's what reminded me I had to change this up to 140 kilometers. Anyway. Oh, I'm not sure I'm making... Let's change, according to my notes... This is supposed to be able to live 490 kilograms into LKO. So, let's turn down the utilization so this says 490 kilograms or somewhere thereabouts. There's 495. Now what's the delta V? So that's can't be right. Right, my budget is 9,000. Again, I want to check the staging here. Maybe it's because the root part's wrong. Let's put the root part is not on an avionics part. That changed things. It's still not high. Ugh, I am so confused as to why this is giving me funky numbers. Again, I want to just go over the staging. So we launch our two LR4389s. Then these are the umbilicals. These are the launch clamps down below. These are the casters. They should definitely go on. Then we release the casters. That is correct. Then we get into this stage. We fire up the Stentor. Release the Stentor. Deploy those fairings that are down there. And turn on our RCS blocks because that's required for guidance. And then this final stage is the decoupler at the top. Let's bring up a rocket that I know works. Don't save this. Gotta solve this Delta V issue. So here's the Atlas, or the Explorer 6. Very boring, similar rocket. Okay, it's got a huge amount of Delta V. I don't know. I'm just so confused by if I bring in let's go new again, see if I can work this out. Or maybe the thing to do, bring up that Explorer 10 again. Open this up. Ah, shoot. I just changed the presets, so I just won't save that. Toggle that open. Chuck this away. Get the Atlas 1B. Stick that underneath. Bring her up. This is the root part at the top. It is. Check your staging. All that looks good. That definitely does not look good. That should be there. That should be there. That is the Aerobee. That is certainly not right. Why does it find this so confusing whenever you... Okay, the Stentor needs to be in a stage. The decoupler for the Stentor. Those and the RCS blocks all need to be in their own stage. That is correct. That's what should go here. Then... we have the Aerobee. We have more RCS blocks. Yeah. I need the RCS to guide this upper stage, so they should go on at the same time as the Aerobee. Where is this decoupler? Way up here. I don't know why it's way up there. We need to put that here. And then the Aerobee and those RCS blocks. That is correct. Then that decoupler and the cluster of 11 baby sergeants. Okay, this now is a sensible Delta V. And up until stage 3 is where we release our payload. That should add up to 9,000. Now, if I change the root part... Oh, what the heck happened there? Control Z. Really having trouble with... There we go. If I change the... Oh, now the staging's messed up again. For frick's sakes and a frick stick. That's right, that's right, that's right. This goes here, this goes here. Nope. Those go there. Why is this so frickin' complicated for you? Okay, that is our Stentor booster. That is that decoupler. That is the fairings. That is the RCS blocks there. Good. Moving on up. That's wrong. There's the Aerobee. There's that decoupler. It should be in its own stage. there, 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 and there. Okay. Whew. All right. That is all right. I'm starting to lose track of what the frick I'm doing, too. That's with the new model underneath. Yes. Okay. So, according to this, I don't have enough. Well, now I'm looking at the DV down here on the bottom. The first up till stage 4 needs to add up to 9,400. This is why I was putting in the utility weight, but clearly that was just confusing things. Or the, you know, the tank of lead. 799 on the bottom stage. I'm looking down here. Stage 6 is 4,138. That is true. Plus, the next stage is 3,853. That gets me 8,790. That's at least a reasonable number. It's a little bit too small. Okay? So what I'm looking at is to bring that up about another 600-700 meters per second. And we're going to try and do that by once again upgrading these motors. So we're going to hit on the engine. We're going to go upgrade there. And we're going to hit this engine. And we're going to go upgrade there. Now, unfortunately, again, I have to add up manually these first. And again, there's extra stages jumping in. What is going on? Okay, that's all good. Why? Excuse me for a moment. It changed the staging when I did that. Okay, stage 6. Turn those. Oh, wait, I gotta refill the tanks. Oh, maybe that's what. You have to readjust the tanks for the new engines. Oh my god, that might have been what I was just doing. Remove that, fill them for the new engines. Oh, that's why my Delta V's were so messed up. Okay, now I can probably get this to work. Let's just. That's all I was doing. I wasn't changing the fuel for the new motors. You know, it's tough. Like, I do this. No, that's tough. I'm making excuses, but I'm going to make the excuse anyway. Because I live stream a pretty much stock game, and then I do the RP1, and I jump back and forth between them, and I'm perpetually forgetting the things I got to remember to do in RP1. Let's see. 854. That's going to be my excuse anyway. Anyway, I'm adding up these bottom Delta V's again manually. 854 meters per second, plus the next stage is 4,336 meters per second. Plus, the next stage is 3,853. I type 2,000. Let's add in another 1,000. That gets me 9,043, which isn't enough, but at least it's kind of a reasonable number. Boy, I really feel like, and oh, is the mass still too high? Mass is not too high. I have to do a minor modification, it looks like. I can see this in yellow. Might be just because the propellant changes. It's not changing any of the tonnage numbers. Okay. A little frog in the throat there, too. Let me think. Grab this. Might as well give this a test and see how she does. But I could just moderately increase the length of this tank. Oh, what I wanted to do, I got that 9,043. Let's do just as an experiment, the utility weight. Put the utility weight at 928, and I should get 9,043 back. That should be a test. Whenever I click that, I get this bit of idiocy. Whenever I go to click, I don't know what the frick I'm clicking, but now if I go Control Z, I bet you anything, all the staging will mess up. Control Z again. There, now it's back down, and all the staging is back to where it frickin' was. Sorry, folks. I know people are going to scream. Oh, wait. No, it's not. It's good. Okay. No, the staging's right. Never mind. Never mind. It's all good. Okay, what I was trying to do is click this reroute tool. I think what I'm doing is I'm hitting the reroute tool and also bleeding through to that. And then hitting this tower, and then that's messing everything up. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take off my payload. Replace that with a block of lead. I'm going to replace that with a block of lead with the same weight. Okay. This is now 5.61 tons. So we will shrink the size of it. There we go. Not that much. So it's 900. It's now 1.08 tons. 928 kilograms is what I'm shooting for. There it is, 928 kilograms. And I should have for a Delta V. Now it says 10,000. Isn't that interesting? Now it's saying 10,000. Here it's 928 kilograms. I'm not lying to you. What if I change the root part back to that? Is the staging sensible? The staging still seems sensible to me. Let's change the root part back to this. That made the difference. 9,044. What did I have before? I gotta pull up my 9,043. Okay, so you have to make the block the root part. All right, what we're gonna do. So I do want to see if I can get away with. Whew. Trying to keep the mass of this down. That's really what I'm thinking about. Just trying to keep the mass of all this stuff down so I don't screw up previous rockets. If I start increasing the length of this tank, I'm good for Delta V's and stuff, right? Let's see. Go away. Or sorry, not Delta V, thrust to weight. Yeah, my launch thrust to weight ratio is monstrous. All my TWRs are fine. If I increase the length of this tank, so this is going to be a very minor, but it won't be nearly as heavy. This is, I go to here. It's only 102 tons so far. Where's the length of that tank? This will require a bit of tooling, but not a lot. Why am I having trouble finding the length? Oh, it's vertical scale. Okay. Love to get around 9,400 meters per second on this. There. That was a minor amount. Okay, so that's going to require a little bit of tooling. But to tool that new tank cost me 8,400. TWRs are still fine. Burn time on those engines here is about 2 minutes. And I'm sure they're fine for that. Don't hit tool all to close that because I don't know if this is what I'm going to do. Let's see how she does. So I'm going to go back to making this the root part. It's all about the root part. Throw that away. Put the regular payload back on. We can probably do some fiddling here. Because this should be in a fairing. This is a... Let's increase the top of this avionics. Gotta be really careful here not to screw up the electricity and stuff that's below it if I start moving that around. Where is the configure button? That's the one. I want to keep the electricity around 50 kilojoules. So if I just looking at changing the shape here just a little bit. Too many windows. Bottom is 900 millimeters. Let's change the top to 900 millimeters. I knew that would change that. Keep that at 50. Resize to fit. I'm happy with that. So just a very slight change. Do I have to even tool this? Sometimes when you... Where's it talk about... Oh, no, I do have to retool it. Okay, but... And instead of... Here, we'll make this the root part again temporarily. Oh, it's not temporary. It still is a root part. No, it's not. Oh, my God. Okay. Get that away from that tower. There. Root part. There we go. Take this off. Take that off. We're going to replace this with a fairing base. Payloads. Let's just use the procedural fairing base. Obviously, we are bringing the size down a lot. I think it was 900 millimeters, was it not? 900 millimeters. We can now put this back on. And now we can put a fairing around all that. I have very little doubt that all of our staging just got completely effed up again. Yes, it certainly did. Let's put the root part back to the top. Oh, lordy, lordy, lord. Okay. Every time I change anything, the root parts are just... The game just cannot keep track of this. You know what? Keep that with that. Where is my little Stentor engine that got lost in the mix? There. That's the Stentor. That needs to be in... It's that middle stage. I don't know why... It keeps thinking, oh, you want to stage that up here, don't you? What would make you think that? Why? There should be a decoupler down there somewhere. That is that decoupler. That goes there. That is those RCS blocks. That goes there. That is those fairing shells. That goes there. This whole stage goes here. Then... Wherever this is, that's there. That should be in a stage by itself. That should go here. Right? That's the Stentor. Yep. Along with the fairings. Where's those? Can I deploy the fairings? Those are those RCS blocks. That's the Araby. Oh yeah, that's right. I got 2 sets of RCS blocks. What? These are the frickin' Castor radial decouplers. For goodness sakes, what are they doing? They should be way down here. Okay, there. That's the Araby along with all of that. To be honest, I should probably stage that RCS when I stage the fairing. Okay. We'll get there. Then the Araby. We're almost there. Then the baby sergeants with that decoupler, and then this with that decoupler. Oh my god, that took way too much work. Okay, stick that on. Two-way symmetry. Bobby's your uncle. We'll worry about the color later. I'm a little worried about the delta V on the bottom half here, but you know what? We'll give this all a try. Okay, let's simulate this. I feel like I spent a lot of time doing something that's not going to work. But maybe it will. Simulate. There we go. So you're getting a little bit of a look. Let's get rid of that at the whole new... it turned out to be a very clear day, so we can't show off the clouds. I also turned up... Whoop. The lighting. I was having a little bit of trouble with getting the lighting right. Right now the lighting feels very flat because I went into the settings and I adjusted the brightness, but I was finding that this mini, oh, now it is working. Okay. Okay. So maybe there was something before that was overriding the minimum ambient light. Okay, I'm glad that's working. Maybe I can get that to work right. Anyway, I'm really rambling, so let's stop. Let's get this all working. So I think all of this is going to be no longer the defaults because new install. So what I need to do, let's put the PVG settings on this side. I got them used to being that way. Is we need to do an early cutoff stage is stage number 3. Yesums. And we're going to, we have unguided stages on stages 1 and 0. Not that McJeb is going to use those for the ascent anyway, but I'll put them in either way. Probably doesn't matter. Our last stage is stage 3. Early cutoff is also stage 3. We're going for, oh, I got to put this on the prime vector guidance. There we go. That's much better. It was on the classic ascent profile. We're going for a 250 by 250 kilometer orbit. Our inclination is our current inclination. There we go. Starting to get some more sensible numbers. Unguided stages. We won't have a coast stage, so I might give it a try. Some people were saying, we'll see. We'll see if I can get it to work right. Because one thing at a time, again. So we'll keep the coast stage off. We'll not spin her up. That's all good. I do want to keep the climbing at a 90 degree, just adjusting the roll so that actually doesn't roll when it comes off the pad. If you go due east, but put 90 in there, that's fine. Other than that, let's take the auto warp off. Other than that, I think I'll leave everything else alone. And we'll engage this. And McJeb says, yeah, I can do this. I got this. I see no warnings. Let's go. Okay, we have to restart because clearly the fairings are frickin' through. I didn't notice that the fairings were way down at the wrong stage, so we got to move the fairings. Where will the fairings be? The fairings will be after. This is the Stentor stage. Okay. It'd be somewhere after the Stentor lights. Now, can't you? I think you can deploy fairings automatically. Right? I'll keep the auto stage on. Stop auto staging at stage 0. Yeah, no, let's stop auto. Well, no. That should be okay. It should auto deploy the fairings. I'm pretty sure I have that just with the auto stage on. So it should deploy the fairings on its own. Other than that, I think everything else is still the same. So let's just engage this. We'll try this again. Letting go of those fairings at that time is not a good plan. Okay, we're off. And we have 0 control because I don't have the avionics up enough. Okay, revert back to the editor. Oh, that reminds me. On the last flight of that Explorer 10 I had before. Oh, I should definitely not save this. Oh, shoot. Did I oversave? This is the Explorer 10B. Open. Did I get rid of my old Explorer 10? No, it's still there. Whew. I thought for a moment I'd overwritten that old one. Okay, in case I have to go back. When I was doing this rocket, the Explorer 10 from last episode at the end, it was doing a weird ascent, and I was very confused by it, and I'm sure there were people spotting it in the video. I spotted it as soon as I made a short of me doing it. I didn't have the avionics up enough. And so it didn't have enough avionics to require for the tonnage of the vehicle, and then it lost control like you just saw there. But then very soon after liftoff, the tonnage came down because it was losing fuel, and then it regained control. So it was sort of funny, and I sort of thought, what are you doing, McJeb? That's what was going on. The funny thing is it made it anyway. Okay, anyway, all of that was a lot of fluffing and fuffing about. This thing's 116 tons, and this avionics can only handle up to what? 100 tons. So we're going to put that up to 125. I want to keep the kilojoules at 150. Let's resize to fit. Put that back to 150 and apply and preserve dimensions. Okay, that should take care of that issue there. I never changed the middle stage, so that maybe, actually, let's just check. If I open this up, take this off, what this it has a tonnage of 10.265, and this, I think it's probably set to 10, isn't it? Yeah, so that actually has to be bigger too. Let's put it at 12. Again, I want to keep this at 50. Apply resize to fit. Okay, and close that. Okay. Ooh, we're closing in on it, folks. We're closing in. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Endless tweaking in this game. Okay, where did that... Those fairings, where did you... There they are here. So let's put you here, and you really belong up here. Okay, saving you, simulate. 12 hours from now, yeah. Okay, thankfully... Oh no, we still got unguided stages on stages 0 and 1. There we go. Get rid of you. Other than that, all the rest of the settings seem correct. Am I correct in that assumption? I think so. Oh no, last stage is stage 3. I don't want you to use early cutoff as stage 3. Yes, that's... Okay, there we go. Engage. And go. Alright, no warnings this time about having too much weight for the avionics, so that is good. And we are going off towards the east. Again, McJeb? Oh, I'm not so sure McJeb is too happy. No, it looks like McJeb is saying we're going to come short. We'll see. We'll let it keep going. Oh, it's not stage 3, by the way. It's stage... frickety frackety foo. It's stage... Staging... No, it was stage 4 is the last one. So it's going to use a little bit... Shoot, let's restart this. I do have something wrong. Restart. Sorry, the final stage with this now thrown in is actually stage 5 that it needs to get into orbit with. That is the second stage. So these need to be 5s. And 5s. Last stage is stage 5. This should say early cutoff. Oh my gosh, there we go. Still on current inclination, I think. Yes, that part's right. I bet you McJeb is going to say, no, I can't do this. Yeah, McJeb is saying I can't do this. We're coming a little short. Probably the weight of the fairing I put on there. That probably is what did this. Now, some people were telling me, I was being told, and I don't know if this will make McJeb happier, that I should stage the Stentor engine first and then decouple it. This has to do with hot staging. I was finding in the past I needed to throw them all into the same stage for McJeb to do the hot staging. And speaking of hot staging, do I have hot staging enabled? Support hot staging. I do not. Okay. Let's try this again. Now, it also tells me what the lead time is for this engine. Somewhere. Effective spool up time is 1.77 seconds, so let's put in 1.8 seconds here. Okay, so that's different. Okay, what does McJeb think of this situation now? Still says it can't do it. Drop solids early is off. That's true. Okay, it's not doing it for me, is it? Just to see whether at least this changing and staging actually works. Let's improve. Let's get the Araby into the mix, which is this top one, right? Make stage 2. What do we have? This is in the bad spot. These guys. Disengage. Engage. No, that didn't fix it. Let's change, because Araby is on stage 2. Let's get the Araby in the mix here a little bit. Oh, and that made McJeb happy. All I want to do is see if it changes how the hot staging works. So 5, 4, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. And we are off. Close you. So there was a YouTube comment telling me that this second stage engine, to get the hot staging to work right, needs to be separate from all the rest of this. Probably this should be up here. Let's see how she does. So this is sort of a McJeb experiment. I am still learning how McJeb works properly. Okay, that staged all nicely. Alright, seems to be working. I tried this once before, just between the last video and this video, and McJeb fired up this Stentor engine too early. Oh, these, oh, can I fix the staging on the go? These should be here. Ah, that's what screws it up. Okay, that's a mistake. Alright, alright, alright. So let's try this again. Revert back to the editor. No, restart the simulation. This has more to do right now about just learning a bit more about McJeb. So we're going to take this and put it here. And the thing I noticed, as soon as I put those fairings in with this, McJeb said, oh, okay, we'll stage all that. And I'm going to say, no, don't do that. Let's try this out. Okay, that I'm going to leave there. Those are the top fairings. Let's engage this. See what it does. Again, for the mission, I really shouldn't be using the Araby in one. Right now, I do have McJeb set up to, I use the Araby to do the final bit of the orbital insertion. That's not cool. But I'll see if just increasing the length of this tank will get me enough DV to get this done. We'll see how short I come, too. Okay, so we'll just lose the casters. There we go. A little bit of explosion behind me, but what happens behind me, I don't care. All right, we got about another 100 seconds left on this burn. So we'll do that. Because if I can get away with a lighter, cheaper booster to get this mission... Wow, that pitch over. There's another thing that might be changeable. The other thing that I was being recommended by the same person was to do the coast phase thing. We'll see how that works. Now, let me take the time warp off so I can talk about this. If I'm going to do the coast phase, what it means is that this whole Atlas stage needs to get up to an altitude, get the apogee up to 250 kilometers, all on its own. And then we coast, and then it uses this stage at the top to do the actual insertion part. We'll see. See if I can get that to work that way. But I'm going to just see. Now, does this... Wow, we got a lot of shaking going on. I think that worked. And there wasn't that same kickover as we had before. The fairing, that was McJeb that did that. It decided the pressure was low enough. I think that worked really well, in fact. Oh, the other thing I can do is I can reduce the amount of RCS propellant in here by a lot. There's a little tank hidden in here somewhere. But I have RCS propellant hiding in here. It's in there. It's a very thin little tank. Okay, I'm having trouble just clicking on it. But I can reduce the utilization on that a lot. That'll save me a little bit of weight. Okay. You know what? I think that hot staging did work a little better. Now, according to this, McJeb, it's going to do about 22 seconds of the next stage. "23 seconds. Oh, I should also... Isn't there a setting somewhere with McJeb with use RCS for ullage or something? It's under utilities. Because it is going to need to do that. Use RCS for ullage is already toggled on. Okay, I just want to see how this burns. So it's about... Let's time warp a little bit left of this. So right now, in the Aerobee stage, there is 663 meters per second of DV. Well, that's going to go down to 0 because the Aerobee can't relight. So that's going to be problematic anyway. See what it does. Yeah, it's going to burn for 24 seconds on the Aerobee. Boy, we're really getting that camera shake happening with these high TWRs. Oh. Where are we? What is our... Do we have a decent orbit? Whoa! What? It made it. Hang on. It made it comfortably. We have an apogee of 904 meters per second. Okay then. Hang on. We never did get into using the Aerobee engine. Let's revert this back to the... I'm a little excited. We're going to make some changes. So the first change I want to make is actually up here. We're going to open this up. And there is a tiny, thin little fuel tank in here somewhere. There it is. It's heading between the two. Yes, and this has the propellant for these RCS blocks. And these RCS blocks up here are necessary because there is no gimbaling on this Aerobee engine. They're also necessary to provide a little bit of ullage to get the engine lit. But all of that does not require a lot. So I'm going to turn this actually down to like 10% of normal. I don't want to make the tank any thinner because it's already hard enough to click on it. But I will turn to utilize. So that just saved quite a bit of weight on the payload. In fact, how much weight did it just save if I took this off just temporarily? I got to find a better, happier home for that McJeb thing. Now it's down to 895. Wow, I just shed a lot of weight there. It's down to 895 kilograms from the previous 928 kilograms. So that's gonna help. Okay. So let's close these. All right, and staging is still sensible? I think so. It is complicated. When I look at it here, that's a long staging diagram. And. It made it up to orbit reasonably comfortably. So it kind of begs the question, maybe I don't need to have this tank be as long. Now, right now, these engines here burn for, looks like about 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And their rated burn time is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So that's fine. That's fine. I don't have to worry about that. I'm honestly thinking of making this tank maybe a smidge smaller. What's my DV on the first 3 stages? I wish I could get a running total without the top part, but I'll get out a calculator. The DV on the first 3 stages is 732 plus 4,783 plus 3,869. And that gets me 9,384. I think I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. I think I'm not going to change a bloody thing. Let's save this. And let's simulate. He says with a pause. Am I something else I should be doing? I don't think so. Let's do this one right. All right, so the early cutoff stage now is stage number 5. Why was it saying before that it can't do it? See, now it's saying it can't do it, but it did it. Stage 5. What if I change the early cutoff stage to stage 4? Maybe I'm just kind of misinterpreting this. Now it does it. Okay, and the stage 4 is just the frickin' fairing. Okay. It is a little weird when it says burn 4 of 139.4 seconds, but stage 4 here is the fairing. So I'm not 100% sure how it's interpreting that. Oh, I wanted to put this into here. Okay, the other thing that was suggested, let's play with this. Let's play with this because maybe there's ways to make this. This is the other thing that was suggested. The other thing that was suggested is to play with the coast stage. Turn that on. To the to have the coast stage probably be stage 6. That's when the stage 6 and coast before you get to stage 6. Stage 6 is the Stentor engine. So the idea of this is it's going to pick a trajectory in such a way that just this Atlas stage, with the help of the casters, of course, is going to get it to an apogee of 250 kilometers. Then it disengages that, engages the Aerobee, or not the Aerobee, the Stentor, but doesn't engage the engine, actually. It won't. Oh, but it needs some sort of... No, let's not go there, because I will need ullage. That requires a little bit of a change in how these RCS blocks... No, that requires ullage. We're going to turn that off. Turn off the coast stage business. All that stuff's off. We'll play with that later. We'll play with that on a future rocket. All right, let's see if this gets the job done. So it's engaged. Let's go. I do want to check and make sure the magnetic scan is ready to go. That is part of this thing. And I should get the contract ready. Because now I'm actually going to try and meet the orbital requirements of this contract, which is this guy. Okay, let's turn this off and this off. This here. And let's get our orbital parameters so we can look to see what we got happening here in some detail. There and there and there. Okay, there go the casters. Jeb window. Don't reset the display. There we go. We're off. Okay. Let's do this. Maybe with a future rocket, I will play around with doing the coast thing, but it does require... there's that bit too. I'm just learning to live with it. I'm not really that much of a min-max type of guy. Like, if the rocket gets the job done, I tend to incline to just say, let's go with it. And then I'll, you know, if I need to make improvements, then I'll make improvements if I have to. But if it doesn't, I don't need them, I'll just go, yeah, that's fine. But I do think now that that hot staging is working a little better. So, what? Whoa, we got a lot. The shaking, this is obviously a setting. I'm just gonna I mean, to be quite fair, and there, yeah, okay. To be quite fair, the G's got over 10 G's there. So that, to be quite fair, that's fair. The camera does that old shaking business. I gotta decide whether I like it or not. I know I can adjust that in the game settings. That's easy. All right. So we're now on stage 4, and that's what I had set for the early cutoff, right? Early cutoff is stage 4. So this shouldn't burn until the apogee gets up to whatever. This should stop at about 250 by 250. All right, we got about 34 seconds left on this stage. It's much more frugal now with the use of RCS. Okay, I'm gonna get started. Again, the G's are creeping up. It's over 5 G's, 6 G's. Now we're starting to get a bit of that camera shake. 7 G's. And we are... yeah, 250 by 250. Perfect. I like it. I like it. Okay. So the next stage in this is actually to turn off RCS for a moment. We're going to stage but not fire up the Araby. There we go. So we've now deployed our payload. Right? We should be able to give a little bit of RCS, a little bit of... yeah. To get that to move away. There we go. And this is just debris now. And next step is to get our apogee up to, I think I said 3050. So what we're going to do is turn off a lot of this extra information. I'm going to go do some sky cleaning after this. We're going to... again, I'm learning. I know I can do the maneuvers manually, but I kind of like the idea of using McJeb to help me out and just learning how all these tools work. So there is a maneuver planner right here. Everything comes up in that top corner. Okay, there we go. We're going to create a node. Not advance to another planet. There is an option to do it just so much. So much in the future. Where are we got here? I want to change both my... I want to change just the apogee. Where is... there it is. Change apoapsis. Okay. At the next periapsis. No, I want to change that after a fixed amount of time. Yes. And I'm just going to wait. Let's call this 3600. That's 6 minutes from now. 3600 seconds. And I want to change the apogee to 3050 kilometers. Okay, create the node. Beautiful. So that's all set to go. All right. And we can turn on under utilities the auto warp feature, right? Oh, the auto warp's on, right? Sorry, it's right here. I also don't need the ascent guidance anymore. So all I got to do now is say execute the next node. And ullage, it should provide ullage. It should do everything for me. We should put RCS on and execute the next node. There we go. Okay. So it's got itself set onto the maneuver node. Let's change our camera here. Oh, I did put on Chatterer. I don't know if you heard that little noise as I lost the signal. I lost the signal because we're not over a ground station right now. But it doesn't matter. McJeb is in control. So it's providing some ullage. That's way too much lead time on the ullage. We'll fix that. Right? Okay, stage. Okay, I gotta figure out how to no. Okay, that was under utilities. I had to stage that Aerobee. That shouldn't have to work that way. RCS ullage. Use RCS for ullage. It just didn't stage the Aerobee. I'm not sure why. It was trying to do the whole burn on RCS, which is clearly very, very silly. Alright, so this should put up my apogee up to 3050, just over this requirement, and then we will be firing off these SRBs, which will get the eccentricity over 0.75. Now, some people might be noting that you are more efficient to burn for what your eventual, at this point, to burn for what your eventual apogee is going to need to be, and then bring up your perigee. That is the more efficient way to do it, and I agree. There's a couple of reasons I'm not doing it. Number one is I would have to Okay, that's good. Just looking, where's my orbital? There we go. Yep, that's right. One reason is I'd have to rejigify the staging. The staging's not set up for that kind of way. Like, I'd have to make this stage bigger and this stage smaller. I don't want to do that. And to be honest, the SRBs are really light, so dealing with a lot of delta V with the SRBs might actually, in turn, be the more efficient way to do it. Shrinking this stage and making this stage better might make the whole payload heavier. Might not be the best way to do it. I don't know. I never investigated it. But the other reason is SRBs, once you light, they just go. Whether they'll just go until they run out of fuel. And, so they have a tendency to overcook your burns. If you overcook the burn, if I overcook the burn that's coming up, I should actually just set that up right now. Did I make a note on what I'm doing here, by the way? If I don't, I should make some notes. No. Okay, we'll make some notes in a second. But if I overcook the burn that I'm about to do up here, let's set up the burn so you'll know what I'm talking about. We'll use the maneuver planner. I want to do this next burn at apogee up here. And I want it to raise my, I don't know, I'm just going to stick in a number. It really doesn't matter. It's got to be below... Let's put in 50,000 kilometers for now. Let's see what it does. Create the node. That creates a burn of 2,605. I only have... Oh, I have 3,226 left in this job. So I'm going to make it bigger. 60,000. Create the node. Oh, wait a minute. Remove nodes and now create a new one. Now it's creating a burn of 2,668. Let's go with 70,000. What I'm doing is just making the burn that will use up the 3,226 or in abouts. Remove, create node. Now it's, oh my God, 90,000. Remove node, create node. This will help it get the timing right. So 2,000. Frickety frack. 120,000. 150,000. 180,000. 200,000. Okay, what's 250 then? Because it has to be below 250. Oh my gosh, it's saying that it's going to raise it too high. I want to do a burn at apogee that raises... Oh wait, I want to change my perigee. Oh my god, there we go. I want to change my perigee. No, that was right. Change the apogee to 250,000. Well, let's see how this goes. I might need to dial this down a little bit. Might be a little bit on the heavy side. No, it's putting the burn... No, that's all right. No, that's exactly what it wants to do. Okay. But anyway, as I was saying before, it would have been more efficient for me to push from low orbit about Kerbal, my apogee up to here, and then it'll be a very tiny burn to push the perigee out to the required 3,000? Yeah. But if I overcooked it, my eccentricity is going down as I do a burn out there. That's what I was trying to say. And so if the SRBs overcook it, all that ends up happening is that the eccentricity ends up being, or the eccentricity will be too low. But now if the SRBs overcook it, my eccentricity will just be higher than the 0.75, and that doesn't bother me. I think this is the safer way to do it. It's my short end of doing it. Let's just execute and shut up. So let's see what we get. I'm a little bit worried. To be honest. It's going to readjust here. There it goes. Oh, I should keep an eye on... There's plenty of helium. Yeah, it's doing a very good job of conserving all that. Despite the crazy ullage thing that it did at the beginning. I got a feeling it's going to try and ignite this. I do, yes. So it's going to be 12 seconds to burn through what's in the SRBs. And so I should start the burn 12 seconds early, which is right now. Lots and lots of G's. Lots of shaking. Okay. We got... Okay, it says the required orbit. Our apogee is only 130,000, so it's on crack. So this is the required orbit. All it's got to do is survive for 45 days, collect 75% of the high altitude magnetic scan. My electricity situation, it's saying now perpetual. We'll change it so that if the electricity ends up going down, because this thing's going to tumble because it has no attitude control. All right, let's make some notes. Let us make some notes. So this is going to be for the Explorer 10. Actually, I'm going to do some renaming here. I'm going to call this guy the Explorer 9. And I'm going to call this one, which is aiming to be my first moon impactor, Lunar 1. You know what? After the Russians, it's going to be Luna 1. Okay. So Explorer 9. Insert into 250 by 250 orbit. These are the steps. This is for the, what do you call this contract? Magnetometry contract. Satellite contract. Okay. 250 by 250 kilometer parking orbit. Apo to 3,050 kilometers for the first burn, and then the next burn is going to be at Apo New Apo to, what did I run? Let's just look at what I got here when it did all the burning. 129,000 kilometers. Really, I think, yeah, it really has a tough time predicting the DV with these Sargent SRBs, doesn't it? And by the way, my eccentricity is 0.87, so the eccentricity is fine. This is what I mean by the SRBs overcooking, and doesn't matter. As long as the eccentricity is above 0.75, I'm fine. But if I did the burn at this apogee of 129,000 and it overcooked and the eccentricity drifted below 0.75, then I'd have a problem. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's save, because I think I'm ready to start getting serious with this one. Let's revert back to the editor. Yep. And let's save this. I'm just going to do some actually, wait, we got to do some cleaning up here of patterns and all that kind of stuff. Let's open this coloring GUI up. And we're going to store this pattern. And then we're going to open up the coloring GUI on these fairings. And we're going to load the pattern. Well, it comes out like that. Wow. That doesn't seem right. Let's go back to here. Open the coloring GUI. Let's store this color and then open up the coloring GUI on you. Let's load this color. Is it me or am I just on? I don't understand what's happening here. That just feels way, way too dark. Way darker than... Procedural fairings. Where is the whole business with... Oh, no, that's not what I want. I wanted this one, dummy. Recoloring. Now, stick with the egg. There's the Atlas. Let's go with the Atlas and then load that pattern that I had before. You know what? Just leave it with the... I guess the colors... Atlas recolor. I thought I saw that. Am I crazy? Go back. Atlas recolor. Load color. Really doesn't open up the coloring GUI again. Okay, wait. Now load color. I think I had the wrong coloring GUI open. Hey, well that's really dark though. I don't know if I like that. Let's go back to this color. Open coloring GUI. Grab this side color. And store that color. It's just like close to being white. Now open this again. Recoloring GUI. Get the sides. Load that color. There we go. What is the secondary color detail then? I don't even see where that is. It's maybe on the inside. If I open it. It is on the inside. That looks kind of cool, actually, to be honest. But maybe we can make the inside that dark color. Oh, it's at the top. We don't really care. We'll barely notice what's going on the inside. Okay, let's do that. Then we have some tanks here that we should... I was thinking of putting a cowling around the Araby. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's change the end of this, though. Let's open up the coloring GUI here. Look at the ends of it. Make that like a black color. Oh, wait. You can change the ends to plain metal. There we go. Now make that end a black color. That looks sort of... I don't know what's going on with that, but it looks alright, I guess. I'll load the color. That's the white. Black. And foil. Oh, you know what? Maybe the foil's a better... it looks kind of funny when the foil's just there, though, doesn't it? Let's go back to there. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. End there. Load the color. Black. I think it's just black. Ends. Boom. What's the detail color? I don't even see where that shows up. I don't. So. Now the sides we can make... Well, actually, if you make both of them the foil color, I think that looks okay. Maybe we'll do that. I don't think there's anything I can do with the Araby engine. I think it's stuck the way it is. It is. Is there anything I can do with these? I don't think so, other than change their configurations. And then maybe what I'll do is go up to here and open up that coloring GUI. There it is. Change the sides to that black color. Or that dark gray color, whatever color this is. Let's try this again. Store color. Back up to here. Load color. Or open GUI. Sides, load color. I think that's what it was. Oh, and there is an end that we can see, so maybe... Let's look at the ends. Oh, this is the this is the ends. There we go. Load color. This is the avionics package at the top. Doesn't look like the ends really can change color, so I'm gonna just leave that. Ah, dear, oh dear. And then we'll put... You know, let's play with this. Let's play with this. This is the avionics. Yeah, no, we'll keep that. And then we'll put a white stripe or something down the middle. Tank UI. Good, there it is. Sides. White. There we go. It's not exciting, but it is what it is. And then we'll leave everything else the same. Okay, let's close that. Okay, so I think this is going to be my Explorer B. I think I'm just going to leave it exactly the way it is. Was there any... No, I think that... Oh, yes, I did want to put this the Stentor into its own stage. Other than that, everything is good. Let's save this. Why won't it let me save it? That's weird. Close this. Now I can save it. Okay. Okay, so let's do a little bit of renaming of things before I get any further. So I'm going to just exit out of here. I saved this, right? Yes, I did. I'm actually kind of happy that I made that smaller. We're going to rename this guy. So let's get into integration. This is organized a little bit nicer now that I've upgraded, you know, newer versions of everything, I think is what it is. We are going to rename this. Rename. Save. Rename. I don't know what I just... Oh, I can do it right here, of course. This is now going to be Luna 1. There we go. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to edit. And this is called Luna 1 here. I'm going to save that here, okay? Then we're going to cancel our edit. So now I should have a Luna 1 saved in here. Okay, so yeah, that's Luna 1, right? So now if I open up the old Explorer 9, that is this, but I can actually delete that. And I should have a Luna 1. These two are identical. Good. So let's go to Explorer 9. Delete the old Explorer 9. Delete. Yep. It's just making sure. And now I should take this Explorer 10, load that. So this is the guy I started with. I do want to say, so this is going to be the Atlas 1B Gamma 8. I might end up using this thing. Who knows? We will open up. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to open that. I'm going to just change that to this. Yeah. Avionics there. I'm just going to throw away this payload. Throw away the fairings too. And we'll just save this. And whether I'll use it in the future or not, but it's worth saving, I think. And now we're going to open up our Explorer 10B. And this is now the Explorer 9. This is the new Explorer 9. Explorer 9 with the Atlas 1C booster. With the Caster 1x6 Stentor. That's what that one is. Save. Now, this still doesn't require... Can I push this into the building queue? Looks like here I might need to modify it. I'm not sure. Let's actually, I can see here. This should come up a bit. There. Yeah, I think the right root part's right. Okay, that is that. Save it. Open. That means the old Explorer 10B can be deleted as well as the Explorer 10. I now have a new Explorer 1C. Yes. Oh my god, this is a lot to keep organized. Delete. I just want to delete things that aren't anything. The Explorer 10B can be deleted. Good. Delete. Okay, organized. Now, there is still tooling and shite to be done with this, right? Because there's the fairings at the top. I got new avionics, and I did change the procedural tank. Tooling costs are 45,000. I do have, unfortunately, not enough unlock credit, so I gotta be a little careful. Let's tool all and see what happens. Of course, that's not being careful, is it? I don't have enough, so I can't afford it. So let's tool one thing at a time. So let's tool the avionics, or not the, let's tool the procedural fairings. Tool those fairings. Boom. Purchase those toolings. Yep. Let's tool the new Atlas tank. Tool the tank. Purchase toolings. What is this tank then? Oh, wait, the whole payload needs to be tooled. That's what's going on. Let's open this up. That's the issue up here. That probably needs to be tooled. Yep. This needs to be tooled. And that little height, the little tank there needs to be tooled. That's going to cost me that. Again, I'm doing all this with the unlock credits. Now I still got all kinds of avionics that that has now been tooled, right? Yes. These are new avionics that need to be tooled. Those are going to cost me. I don't have enough unlock credits now. I only have 3,759 unlock credits. So let's not tool that. And that almost for certain means that this guy can't be tooled. No, it costs 14,000. There's this. What are these avionics? There's one here for 180. I'm losing track of. What is the 185 tooling costs? That's that one. That one's been... Oh, way at the top. There we go. A little science package at the top needs to be tooled. Okay. But I do not have the coinage, I don't think, to tool anything else. No, I only have 3,574 in unlock credits. So this is going to have to wait a little bit before it starts to get built. But that's okay. I got to do a bit of a modification. What am I doing? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to... Let's close that. Let's close that. And just close that. There we go. Okay, we're going to save this. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, I have unlocked those new engines, right? Oh, somebody also mentioned... Oh my gosh, I'd forgotten all about this, but one thing at a time. Let's open up that engine GUI. This reminded me of something else. Oh, I've already unlocked these. So I don't need to purchase those. Okay, that's cool. Somebody mentioned, and you know what? I got this thing to work, so I'm going to just forget about it for now. But if I open these up and I look at my little cluster, like say of the baby sergeants, that if I open up the engine GUI for the baby sergeants, I have an upgrade I can purchase on the baby sergeants. But I'm not going to do that. Oh, I had ways to go still with this. I don't remember. It's hard to keep track of the upgrades. You end up losing track of stuff real quick. Okay, I'm going to save this. Got to remember that this is here. All right. Oh, you know what else I need to do? Shoot in a shoot stick. Okay. Open this up. And I have an Explorer boot. What is... You know what? Let's just take the boot file out. We'll worry about that. No boot file. I might just lose. I'm not putting enough energy into KOS anyway. Maybe losing it might not be a bad idea. Close that, close that. That's good. Let's save this. We're done. All right. Back to combined here. Oh, yes. I want to check on... I got all kinds of satellites. I want to see if these are still alive, still doing stuff for me. So we got the Explorer 5. It has collected almost 60 units or 60 credits of science. So that's pretty cool. Let's go visit it. I want to clean up my skies. Okay. So this fella is here. Micrometeorite detecting, it has done all of it, and that is not biome specific. Cosmic ray detecting, it's done all of it. Its orbit is going up. Its apogee is high. Is that high enough though? 15? I don't think that's high enough. I don't think this guy is leaving low orbit. Oh, it's in a polar orbit. Okay. It's doing a magnetic scan space low, and it does telemetry. Oh, the video imaging. That's what its main purpose was. So it's been doing... Oh, that looks... Oh, it's we're over the Antarctic. That's why that looks so white. Is there still useful? It's still very much alive, which I'm very happy with, very impressed with that it's very much alive. Electricity state is still perpetual. Does it have more video imaging it could be doing in low space over the Earth? That is the question. Oh, there is... It seems to have somewhere stored 1 point... I think it's largely done, isn't it? Somewhere there's 1.7... It's not in here, is it? Doesn't look like it's got any data, but I can see here somewhere there's 1.7... Oh, it's in flight. Okay, no, that's still to be collected. So there's still over the tropical savannas. It just has not gotten over it, or the savannas. So we'll leave this. It's done everything else. So we'll leave it. It's still alive. It's still doing its job, so that is cool. Okay, let's go check on Explorer 6. Go to that vessel. So the Explorer 6, you can see, is in pretty high space here. Yeah, it is definitely going into high space. It's in an elliptical orbit. Still, shockingly, very much alive. Electricity is perpetual. It has collected 14 science so far. And it is working on cosmic ray science. Somehow it has 11.2 of 11. I don't know how you pull that one off. Video imaging and that. Okay, let's see what it has left to collect. So of the cosmic ray science, am I finally like getting close to the end of that in high space? Well, give it to me. Give it to me. There we go. Still a little bit here to get. It says, I don't know why. It's saying here that it's got 90% of it, but there's no value left to collect. So that's a smidge confusing. I honestly think it's probably done everything else it could. Video imaging. Why is it stopped? There's a good question. Why are you stopped? Are you got low on electricity? No. On and on. Oh, well, the video imaging I turned off. Yes, because it's in low orbit so little. Has it done the video imaging up high? Is there more to do? High space video imaging. No, there's still more to do, and it's biome specific. And all it says here is oceans. I've only done... No, that's flying high, dope. There it is. Again, says there's no value left, but I've collected 90% of it. I don't know how that works. And I'm not sure why it's off. That's a little weird. Let's turn it on. Okay, so this still seems to be doing something. Let's go to Explorer 7. All of these are alive. That's amazing. Here's Explorer 7, high above the Earth. It's doing temperature scans, which I'm sure it's done. Mass spectrometry. Oh, we're still in space low. Again, the cosmic ray science and a micrometeorite detecting. Let's take a look at each of those. So micrometeorite detecting. Now this guy is going up to high space. Yes, its apogee is 50,000 kilometers. Even though now it's on its way back down. Micrometeorite detecting. That's what I was going to look at. High space, it's all been collected. So that is done. Cosmic ray science. I think I was just looking at that. Again, that's the same goofy thing where it says there's no value, but I don't know why. No value, but we've not at 100%. That's got to be just a rounding error. Let's assume that's done. Mass spectrometry. Okay, scrolling down. We have, that's done. Space low, space high. So although this thing is still alive, I think we're running out of things for it to do. And the temperature scan, which I'm sure is done. That's a very short experiment. Somehow we have 200% of it in space low. Okay. Oh, I know why. That might be some contracts that required that. So I think this fella can be deleted. Let's might just take Explorer 7 and stop tracking it. That's what I think. When I delete something, what I'm really doing is just not tracking it anymore. It's not like I'm breaking the laws of physics. To be quite honest, though, its perigee is 250 kilometers. That would be low enough that this thing would slowly decay, though. It would take a long time with its apogee being as high as it is. Okay, let's go to Explorer 8. And Explorer 8 is doing a pressure scan, micrometeorite detecting, and cosmic ray science, and telemetry. Well, again, that's all sounding familiar, isn't it? The pressure scan, I'm sure, is done. I think this is done. I think I might delete you too. So go to here. It's all waiting to do stuff, but I don't know. I'm not convinced there's anything for it to do. So pressure scan, determining that, yes, it is a vacuum out here. It's all done. The micrometeorite detecting, wasn't I just checking that one? It's all done. Cosmic ray science, that sounds familiar too. It's all done. Yep. And, okay, so I'm going to delete Explorer 7 and Explorer 8 is what I'm going to do. I think the other two might still have stuff to do, especially Explorer 5. So let's go back to the Space Center. We'll go into here. Okay, so Explorer 7 we're going to delete. Terminate. Explorer 8 we're going to terminate. Now, so that leaves only 2 satellites out there doing anything, though I'm actually a little bit skeptical that Explorer 6 does have things to do, but we'll leave it out there anyway. But I do have a crap ton of debris. And I'm really going to start dealing with this, right? So a lot of this stuff is low orbit debris that really technically would deorbit, but also I don't have any reason to keep tracking these. These are old rocket stages. DLV, these are like from the, like V2. Oh my God, some of this stuff goes back. So this is from a V2 rocket debris, right? Let's, hang on. Let's only see the debris. Oh, this is a V2 rocket sitting on the surface somewhere. We can recover that, or a chunk of a V2 rocket. Okay, we'll recover that. We have another chunk of V2 rocket. Recover that. This is long overdue, isn't it? Another chunk of V2 rocket sitting on the ground somewhere. I have no idea where this is all coming from. The Explorer 2, this is debris from that rocket. It will have, look at it. It will have decayed by now. I feel comfortable just terminating you. We have, it's funny here how the first one, oh, this is sitting on the ground. Another chunk of V2 rocket. Recover you. Okay, Explorer 3. Let's just keep doing it this way. Let's delete, terminate that. Explorer 5 debris. Terminate that. Don't know what it is. Explorer 6 debris. Another bit of Explorer 6 debris. Another bit of Explorer 6 debris. Could be chunks of fairings or something. I don't know. This is from Explorer 7. Long defunct mission. Another bit from Explorer 7. Another bit from Explorer 7. Explorer 8 debris. Explorer 8. And Explorer 8. Oh, you know what these are? These are spent SRB stages. That's what they are. And then I got Explorer 3. And it's always weird how... Oh, no. Now, if I select it that way, I can terminate it. Explorer 3 debris. These are spent SRBs. That's what they are. Okay, look how much nicer that is. I only have 2 satellites now that I'm tracking. If I turn on everything, you can see I don't have a whole ton of stuff anymore. Excellent. Okay. All right. We're going to actually do a mission. Yes, we are. Or hopefully do a mission. I shouldn't get ahead of myself here. What we got happening here is the Luna 1. We are going to go for it. So, That is only 3 days away, so we're going to warp to the completion of that. We're going to roll this out to the launch pad. Warp to the completion of that. And we're going to launch this. Yeah, let's do it. I'm a little nervous, but let's do it. Okay. So we're going to look at this. We got orbit info here. Maneuver planner. We will be using that a little bit. Might as well keep you ready. We'll open up our ascent guidance. And we will also open up that Luna 1 and just put it on this one. And we got contracts. We got contracts. We actually have 2 contracts. So under early lunar probes, we have this do a flyby, which is simply to take a payload and get within 5,000 kilometers of the moon. But I also hope to do a first lunar impactor, which is obviously to hit the moon with a probe with at least 40 kilograms of mass to it and hit it at least 2,450 meters per second. We got some science that's being collected, right? Just a temperature and a pressure scan. I knew I was keeping this one light in order to be able to make it to where I needed to go. I also am going to open up my notes here. And what are my notes that I have for Explorer? Oh, this is now Luna 1. Luna 1 is for that. Adjust McJeb maneuver. Yes, I remember this. Light SRBs manually because McJeb seems to have an issue with it. Yes, so those are the notes I wrote to myself. I'll get back to that. That's for later. All right, on here we got some instructions as to what to do with this. So we got to put this on prime vector guidance. We have to open up our settings here. It says here that our last stage is stage number 3. That is correct. Early cutoff is stage number 3. We're going for a 300 by 300 orbit. Inclination is not current. I don't know why I wrote that. Definitely 90 on the roll, just to keep it from rolling on us. Unguided stages are stages 0, 1, and 2. Again, I don't think I need to put this in because I'm having it cut off on stage 3, but I'll put it in anyway. Drop solids early. I'm going to do, what was that discovery with putting the Stentor in its own stage for the hot staging. We'll go support hot staging. I think it was 1.8 seconds on the hot staging. There we go. I got a little bit of bleed through happening here. 1.8 seconds there for supporting hot staging. We're going to keep the auto warp on. Any other notes that I wrote to myself? Drop solids early is off. Again, a lot of these things have gone back to defaults because this is a new install. Now, what I need to do is target the moon. Engage McJeb. Yep, run orbit. Okay. So what I need to do is toggle the moon, because that's as our target. We're going to turn off all this extra stuff we don't want to look at. I'm going to target Luna, set as a target, and now I have as the option for McJeb to launch into plane of target. So I should be able to just hit that. And our launch window's coming up in 14 hours and 6 minutes. I'm going to put on auto warp. You know what? I am not going to run the orbit. I don't know what I'm thinking about there. Let's turn that off because we're going to let McJeb just do everything. All right. I'm hoping this is all going to work fine. We'll see how she goes. So we're going to close this. We're going to close this. I'm a little nervous. We're going to engage our autopilot. McJeb should take care of everything for us. So it's doing the auto warp, warping to our launch window. I really have no control of when that launch window is going to be. We're back in the nighttime again. Okay, we are 12 seconds away. I can give you a count. Oh, there we go. We got all that stuff back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Engines are lit. Spooling up. Letting go. And we're off. We're off. It's doing a little bit of a tiny little adjustment, a little bit off from east. You can see it's heading at an angle of 86 degrees. And I'll explain for those people who don't understand about how these whole lunar launch windows work. I'll explain it in just a little bit, but I'm going to wait until these SRBs have staged. And then we'll be into our next stage here. Okay, there we go. They're off. Very similar rocket to the rocket we just saw, except for the fact that actually these engines here are still on their... They have not been upgraded. So I could make this thing better still. Okay, let's take a look at what it's doing. So you can see here that the moon is in a relatively inclined orbit. It's about 28 degrees, 29 degree inclination. So what it needs to do is it needs to launch when the launch site is below the moon's orbit. See? Right about here. And now it's simply going east. The interesting thing about launching from Cape Canaveral is that the inclination of Cape Canaveral is almost the same as the inclination of the moon. So if you just get yourself underneath the moon's orbit and go east, you will pretty much go right into the plane. So the idea is that we're going to insert ourselves into this yellow orbit, and that orbit is in the plane of the moon, which will help us facilitate, or the plane of the moon's orbit, and that will help us facilitate. Now that engine isn't on, is it? No, it's not. Okay. I was a little worried that the Stentor is already turned on. It has not. Okay, so I'm hoping all of this is making some sense, and then we'll do a transfer, and we're going to try and hit the moon. That's the whole idea. Okay, we're about... There we go. Just lit the Stentor. That is such a much nicer, cleaner. That is a cleaner stage. So thank you to... I can't remember the name of the YouTube commenter. I do read the YouTube comments that people do provide for me. Sometimes they get a little bit long. And I really can't process that much information. I really can't. Like, it's just I can incorporate new things, you know, 1 or 2 new things per video is really all I'm looking at. And so here, for instance, we got the hot staging working better. Awesome, right? Maybe next time we'll talk about the whole coast phase. Maybe I'll get that working better. But I got to go bit by bit. I can't put in 1,000 things. I just won't process that. I can't. That's it. My brain don't do that. So anyway, yeah, we're going again for this. We got about another 95 seconds left in this stage, so we can definitely do a little bit of time warping. And then the whole idea of this one is we're going to point this in the right direction, and then up here we have our whole collection of those Sergeant SRBs, and we're going to just fire them off. And fingers crossed, hopefully hit the moon. All right, where are we at here? About 30, just getting up to 30 seconds left in the burn. I'll take the time warp off when that is required. Again, we got a little bit of camera shake happening. Let's take the time warp off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa, it was losing a little bit. No, I think that was just a camera shake. I thought it was losing control, but I think it was just a camera shake just going out of control because the G's were getting so high. So there we go. We are in an orbit, right? 300 by 300, or very, very close to it. So now we're going to get our maneuver planner here, and we're going to set up a maneuver. So we want to set up a maneuver Not to change our apoapsis, but... Actually, I think there's a rendezvous planner that maybe I need to use. But maybe it's here. I don't want to return from the moon, that's for sure. Advanced transfer to another planet. Does that include the moon in that? Use a Hohmann transfer to intercept another body orbiting Earth. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So if I create that burn, I'm going to change this lead time to, because I'm going to have to do it manually, I'm going to change it to 30 seconds. But anyway, let's take the auto warp off for now too, in case I... So let's create the node. It doesn't like it. Okay, let's get into... Let's put that aside, or let's close it. I think there's a rendezvous planner is really what I want. I think that's what I used before. Yes, rendezvous planner. I already have the moon set as a target. Don't need to align planes. Intercept with a Hohmann transfer. Bam. There we go. So it's set up a 3,111 meter per second burn. And that is going here, and it's going to, should be really smacking right into the moon if we focus here. And that burn's coming up in just under an hour. Focus view here. And so you can see that's exactly what I want. Want to just smack into the moon. Here's the issue, though. Is according to my delta V, let's open up the delta V doobies. Delta V stats. Is I only have 3,685 meters per second left in the stage below me. And so if I went to execute this node that's only 3,111, it's going to severely overcook it, and I'm going to end up missing the moon. So what I need to do is readjust this maneuver. So we're going to get the maneuver editor out. We're going to readjust this maneuver. There we go. Put that there, put that there, put that there. We're going to readjust this maneuver and put in this amount of the right amount of prograde. Now, according to, let me get this all straight. Let's go back to my notes. That's what I need. When I did this in simulation, I adjusted the maneuver to be 3,716 instead of 3,111. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to take this prograde and put in 3,716. Okay, and that is going to adjust this. Do I need to update? There we go. And you can see now how much it's missing by. And then what we're going to just simply do is bring back the time. Now, I am so used to the stock shift time by 10-second intervals. Let's see if I can get used to doing this. Shifting time, let's put in just 10 seconds and come back. That's the idea. Okay. Come back, come back, come back. I could also be doing this with the stock tools, but I want to get used to McJeb. So we're bringing it back, 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 back. Oh, that's a little much. Let's change that to just 1-second intervals. And again, the idea is to get as close to a kerwhack as we can. I think I'm just going to leave it. It's just a hit should be good. And I think I'm pretty good with this. And it's a little bit weird because this 3,716 is more than what the delta V stats are predicting here. But it's what I got written in my notes. Again, I don't think it predicts what the small SRBs do very accurately. So what I'm going to do is just do that. Now, the other thing is that McJeb, let's get back to here, is that McJeb really doesn't like this. It tries to reignite the Stentor engine, which it can't do. So I'm going to do this all manually. If we take a look, shoot, I just got rid of my delta V stats. Dopey, 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 dope. There we go. if I take a look at my delta V stats, I have about 6 seconds on each of the stages that are coming up. So that's a total of 18 seconds. Divide that by 2, 9 seconds. So what I'm going to do is manually, 9 seconds before the burn, I'm going to start staging those SRBs. But I will use McJeb to do all of the setting for me. You know what I mean? The pointing in the right direction stuff. So I'm going to quick save because I'm a little bit nervous about this. Let's just see how it goes in case I do something really, really wrong. We're going to turn on the auto warp. And we're going to execute the next node. Yeah, let's do it. All right. So the node is in 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let's do it. Why is the node so far away? Our orbital period's only about 90 minutes. That's weird. Okay. Anyway. Whatever. We're going to trust it. Right? I just want to look again. Check. Yeah, I am hitting the moon. It's all good. Okay, let's do it. Execute node. Okay. All right, we got Chatterer making all kinds of noises. All right, so it's going to stop about 10 minutes early. And now it's going to use RCS to reconnect. At least it should. Yep, there it goes. To re-attitude towards that. Again, I have lost my communications, but that should be an issue. And I think I can still stage. I think I do have, does it say partial? I have limited probe control. Part of that limitation is I can still stage, and that's all I need to do. So even if I have no signal, I'll be able to do this, no problem. And McJeb does a very good job of reorienting the craft without using a whole lot of RCS, which is super duper nice. I should have a ton still. I do. All right. I'm going to let this orient itself. Almost on the maneuver node. And then if I read the lead time right, it should stop about 30 seconds before the maneuver. Remember there was a lead time thing that I've gotten rid of? This maneuver editor I don't need anymore. Okay. And again, 9 seconds before the node. Okay, yeah, it stopped its time warping. 9 seconds before the node, I am going to be hitting the stage bar. The space bar, otherwise known as the stage bar. So we can see down here, I don't know if you can see it, 23, 22, 21. I'm not going to do any time warping because, again, I'm nervous. Oh, the ascent guidance I don't need anymore, do I? Close that. Okay, 10 seconds, 9, go. Okay. And stage. This is totally unguided now. Stage. Let me know what you think of the camera shake, because I can definitely turn that down. Alright, so there we go. We have spent all our SRBs. Now comes the moment of truth. Am I hitting the moon? Oh, dee-dee-doo I am. And dee-dee-doo I am. Alright, so, you know, we're going to be at the moon in 22 hours. I'm excited. That's amazing. Okay. You know what? I can't let it go. I don't have anything. I was going to go, let's go to the next episode. No, I can't do that to you. Let's actually do the moon impact. Get these contracts done. I don't think I have anything coming up. No, we're reconditioning the launch pad. That's going to take a couple days. So we'll let it do that. In the meantime, let's go find the moon. So we should be pretty close to just kind of going right at it. We're going very fast. There's the moon there. Okay, instead of doing it this way, of course, what would make a lot more sense because it's going to take us A while to get there. Yeah, less than a day to get to the moon's a pretty quick trip, isn't it? So we're going to warp to here. There is some science that it's going to do. Where is the moon? Where is the moon? Once we're into the moon's SOI, which I think is just happening now, giving the game pause. Okay, we just did a telemetry analysis space high. How's our electricity holding up? We're running our temperature scan and we're running our pressure scan. Our electricity has got 51 minutes left in it. This is just running on batteries, by the way. But we are going to be hitting the moon, I think, long before that. Let's hope so, anyway. Actually, no, I think I do need to have a little bit of electricity still aboard. Ooh, I hope that's all okay. All right. We got to come within 5,000 kilometers. So once we get to 5,000 kilometers in altitude, we should be seeing this going down. So the science stuff is being transmitted back home. I'm a little worried about electricity. Oh, no, electricity just went up once it's done transmitting. So now I got 1 day and 12 hours worth of electricity left. All that science has been transmitted, so let's get down to 5,000 kilometers. So 60,000, 50,000. We've lost a connection. I'm not sure I'm too happy with that. That didn't happen in simulation. I might have screwed up with the avionics. With the communication antenna. Oh boy. It's trying to get communication again, but oh, that's not good. Is it going to give it to me? I don't see a requirement to have communications. Okay, we're about 5,000. I don't think I ran out of electricity, did I? Electricity's pretty low, but I did not. But this might be a comm issue. Let's get to the 5,000. So there we go. Okay, so at least I got the flyby contract. So we'll close that. According to this, all I need to do is hit it. At 2,250 meters per second, my surface velocity, let's switch this to surface, is 3,900 meters per second and climbing. So we're going to definitely hit at the right speed. Now in simulation, this ended up not working. But I see no requirement for transmitting. I think I screwed up with the antenna. But I don't see any requirement here for having communications. So I'm hoping that that's okay. Let's what's our contract here say? We got some great observations during the flyby. The data was very interesting indeed. 90 reputation, 75 applicants. Oh my gosh, I need that. 75 applicants to the program. I'll have to decide what we're going to do with them. Because I'm definitely in a hiring frenzy right now. But I am a tad bit concerned. Because in simulation, this contract didn't satisfy, but according to me, right? Terrain altitude below 3,000. If I get the terrain altitude below 3.5 kilometers in my brain and have a speed of more than 2,450 meters per second, I've satisfied all these conditions. So I'm thinking I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Got a beautiful moon coming at us. Lovely textures. Okay, so let's get down. Unfortunately, I'm sure I'm in near space by now. I don't have the ability to transmit home anything. So something to improve on our next mission, to improve the transmission. We'll be coming back to the moon for sure. Oh, there's a bit of an autosave happening there. I'm just time warping. Again, whoa, here we go. 3005, that should be the, so I'm taking the time warp off. 30,000. 20,000. It's got to get below 3,500. I did it! Okay, contract went green. That's it. First Lunar Impactor. That went green. Contract is complete. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's close this. I'm gonna. We made ourselves a new crater. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We got ourselves a message here. First Lunar Impactor. Congratulations on hitting the moon. We're getting some great data here. 16. So we didn't get any science from low space around the moon, but you know what? We'll be back. We'll be back. And we got 16 science and 120 reputation. Okay. Awesome source. So that's mission successful. But I think this probably is a good time for me to draw this episode to a close. It's been a bit of a long one. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again for the next one.